Hi, I'm Jennifer Tardy, certified holistic nutritionist with Eating for Healing, Nutrition, and Wellness. And if you're watching this, chances are you or someone you love is dealing with a health struggle that just won't budge. Maybe it's gut issues, fatigue, inflammation, autoimmune problems, or that frustrating feeling of doing everything right, but still not feeling better. I know that place. I've lived it. And this is the story of how I went from being overwhelmed, exhausted, and confused to reclaiming my health, healing my family, and building a mission-driven business to help others do the same. This isn't a highlighted reel. This is the truth, the hard moments, the breakthroughs, and the hope I want to give you. So I grew up in an abusive home. There was always tension, fear, yelling, and sometimes worse. My stomach was constantly in knots. I lived with severe anxiety that made me withdrawn, shy, and unsure of myself around other people. That stress showed up in my body early on. I had chronic constipation, sometimes only having one bowel movement a week. Nobody ever asked why. No one connected that emotional pain to physical symptoms. But now I know. My body was already screaming for help. I wasn't athletic. I was chubby, insecure, and hated how I felt in my own skin. Not because I didn't try, but because I didn't believe in myself. What I was good at, though, was planning. I was a straight A student, always on the honor roll. And even then, I was already mapping out a way to break the cycle. We ate the standard American diet, sugary cereals, Twinkies, Little Debbie snacks, Kool-Aid, box dinners, and everything prepackaged. By age 16, I had already had one autoimmune condition and early signs of another. At 17, I got married to my best friend, and at the time, and moved across the world. Though I was still carrying trauma, it still felt like a new beginning. And I started taking care of my health. I lost weight. I got a job at Jenny Craig as a receptionist. And within 6 months, I was even promoted to program director. I even ran my first half marathon. But even though I lost weight, I later found out I had 46% body fat. I was thin, but I was metabolically unhealthy. I also saw clients lose weight and regain it, often heavier than before. I couldn't ignore the cycle. So I left and I became a fitness consultant. And for 10 years, I worked in gyms. But even then and there, saw the same patterns, yo-yo dieting, unsustainable results. What I was really searching for was sustainability, and I hadn't found it yet. By then, my marriage was falling apart. After 10 years with two boys, one with special needs, I ended it. I moved back home thinking things would be different. They weren't, though it was a sober household, but the emotional dysfunction still remained. I made choices I wasn't proud of. I was overwhelmed, working as a bank teller, raising two children, and I was obsessed with my weight, running daily and eating frozen low-calorie meals. My digestion was still terrible. I still had PCOS and vitiligo. And then while working at the bank, I met my future husband, Paul. And within a few years, we were married, and that marked a new chapter. But our real healing hadn't started yet. Those first years of marriage was really hard. Our eating habits were still poor. Paul was eating McDoubles and breakfast sandwiches daily. And our son with autism ate only beige foods, the standard autism diet. And our daughter's eating was chaotic. Then we watched the documentary Food Inc., and that changed everything. We began to shift our eating, but the environment and the toxic environment in my hometown in the winters were too heavy, so we moved south. We started improving, but nothing drastically changed until our son began losing weight uncontrollably. 5,000 calories a day, full chickens, full pizzas, still he was wasting away. covered in rashes, down to 108 pounds at 5'9". Doctors finally diagnosed him with autoimmune condition, eosinophilic esophagitis, EOE. They said it was incurable. They suggested medications, side effects, a feeding tube. Even the dietitian said, I don't know how to help you. That's when I knew I had to keep researching. I had to go back to school, not for traditional nutrition, but holistic, integrative nutrition. I had to understand how food causes or heals disease. So I dove into functional nutrition, food sensitivity testing, gut health, hormone balancing, detoxification, you name it. I stopped chasing symptoms and I started asking why. And then the healing began. Our son gained weight, his rashes disappeared, his energy returned. He never needed that feeding tube, and he began to thrive. He's now 26 years old, 5'11", 195 pounds, and he eats everything. The disease doctors called incurable is gone. They couldn't believe it. Paul lost 80 pounds. He reversed his prediabetes, normalized his blood pressure and cholesterol, and no longer uses a CPAP machine and got off all the medications he was once told he'd be on for life. As the doctor said, it was inherited. And me, well, I healed my gut. After decades of chronic constipation, I now go once or even twice a day, something I never thought possible. And I reversed my PCOS. For the first time in my life, I have regular cycles, and I still do. And this isn't just my family story. It is now my entire mission. I help people who have been failed by the system, who feel dismissed, who know something is wrong, but can't find answers. People like those battling cancer who recover faster and feel stronger with the right support. People with autoimmune conditions who reduce flares and even reverse diagnoses and put it in remission. Clients with diabetes and heart disease who come off medications and regain control. And women with hormone imbalances and PCOS who finally feel balanced and energized again. And then there's individuals with gut issues, constipation, bloating, IBS, diverticulitis, who heal their digestion from the inside out. So what's it like to work with me? It's not like the others. And I know because I've worked for the others. With me, you get fully customized plans based on your labs, your goals, and your lifestyle. You get one-on-one live consultations, not recordings or generic protocols. You get unlimited access to me between sessions. You get real life meal plans, shopping lists, and recipes you'll actually use. Functional lab testing, DNA and sensitivity analysis when needed, and access to a supportive community and my private group. Now, clients don't just lose weight, they gain confidence, energy, control over their health and their future. This is about transformation from the inside out. So if you're ready to stop managing symptoms and start healing for real, I'm ready for you. Let's get started.